6 o'clock on Tuesday, March 17th, 2020. Clerk Therian, could you call the roll, please?
Trustee Berg.
Here.
Trustee Brady.
Here.
Trustee Brennan.
Here.
Trustee Galante.
Here.
Trustee Glatz.
Present.
Trustee Mueller.
Down here.
Number 2, discuss amusement tax for video gaming terminals. Push tax. Paul, you want to take that one?
This is the push tax that is based on the tax is on the player and the video terminal operator, at the video gaming machine. So the tax, every time they push and basically spin the wheel, it's a penny. This is modeled after the old lawn ordinance that was put in place back in November that went into effect 1/1/20. It's been changed with the help of Brad, thank you, to match up with your code. So it parallels that. The tax is on the consumer, so it's a sin tax. It's our position that tax is lawful and constitutional. The terminal operators don't believe, they say, they would argue the impossibility to collect it. They would argue that it's an occupancy tax and it's unfair, which we say it's not. Again, you think if they had any legal arguments, they would have run into a temporary restraining order. They have not. They did file a lawsuit seeking injunctive relief, but not a temporary restraining order. It was up today. It was continued, obviously, because the courthouse was closed, so there was no action on the lawsuit, which they wrote about in favor. We do know the IML is reviewing it, and our understanding is that they're gonna come up with a model ordinance copying this, or this very similar. In fact, we don't think there's much changes from the one that we've enacted, similar to this one. The bar owners have been contacted by, as much like in Old Lawn, my understanding today, they were contacted on Tinley with some fear mongering, saying that the tax is going to be pushed onto them somehow. That's clearly not allowed under the Gaming Act. The bar owner gets their percentage, the operator gets their percentage, the state gets their percentage, and the municipality gets their percentage. So if they're threatening them, their owners, and we saw the same type of, again, fear mongering that rile up the bar owners against the municipality in an attempt to block the tax, saying that they're gonna remove 5 of the machines and only leave 1, or they're going to not give this advertising money back for different things that they're doing on the side, or they're not gonna pay half the licensing fees, what we've heard is improper under the gaming board. The operator cannot pay the bar's gaming fees for licenses fees. So, very similar to their playbook they ran over there. Obviously, they're doing it here. You know, the way the tax is written, it's on the consumer. I will just tell you that, you know, Netflix and others have raised the impossibility argument, and they've been shot down in courts. It'd be difficult, it'd be hard to write the program, but it's not impossible. Impossibility is not gonna be the fence that we think will carry today. They keep raising it, and we have experts that will say it's possible. It may be costly, but possible. That's enough.
There you go. Thanks, Paul. Any questions for anyone?
Yeah, I got just one quick question. So you said the tax is on the consumer.
Right, it's a sin tax,
Okay,
much like a liquor tax, much like a cigarette tax.
okay,
It's a tax on the player.
okay. I guess I just wanted to clarify. I thought the portion of the tax came out on the operator.
No,
Like,
that's,
out of the operators, not out of the owners, it was out of the terminal operators. Cut.
they keep misreading the statute. That's not clearly, we said that they could guesstimate what they owe. They're dragging their feet, they've known about these laws, but the short answer is it's on the consumer.
Okay,
Okay, so for example, yes, the operator could say, I'm not gonna go to the expense of writing the program and I don't wanna do it, I'll just pay it myself and be done with it. much like the county fair on Western Avenue, they don't charge the 7 cents for a grocery bag, for the city of Chicago tax on a plastic bag. They just give you a bag, and they pay.
Okay.
That's a business decision.
Right.
If they want to pay in lieu of their consumer, because they want to be consumer friendly, that's their decision. But the tax is on the consumer.
Okay.
You know, and like I said, you know, what we would advocate for, and what we believe in is that, you know, some of this money should be, used by the village to talk about gambling issues. People are putting their whole paychecks into the machines that are, you know, hurting their families in our community. They go towards the police service and the public service, public health services that we're providing to the restaurants. These are all services that we provide. You know, the gaming industry has left the municipality out of that conversation. So our percentages stayed the same. In fact, the state's percentage went up from 25 to 29. And they put in another 1% for scientific gaming. But they never approached the municipalities and said, you know, you're the front lines here. You know, it's your police services, and, you know, I can anecdotally tell you that, you know, I was with the police chief from Oakland who would tell you that, yeah, there was a fight because somebody put the sign on there, I'm outside smoking. They came back, there was the machine, somebody was sitting there, a fight broke out. Well, 2 police officers had to go over there, break up a fight. That means they're not on their beats. That means they're not doing that work. So there is an impact on our police department. There was a robbery. So they made a lot of money on the machine. Walked outside the bars, somebody followed them out, robbed them. These type of things are going on. And to think that it doesn't have an impact on municipalities is a fallacy. One, they don't want to believe as the operators, and I get it, but they are impacting the services of the village. And we are getting, or the village is getting, the smallest piece of the pie. And this is an attempt to get more money for them. It's only a penny a push. It's not a lot of money. They would tell you it's draconian, I get it. You know, they want to protect their businesses, I understand. But I would submit that, you know, that there is an impact to the villages. In Oakland, we went to the operators and talked to them about setting aside a certain percentage of the money towards restaurant improvements, recognizing that restaurants are the cornerstones of our blocks and our neighborhoods and our malls, our strip malls, and that, you know, we could put a percentage aside every year and say, facade improvements, bathrooms, kitchens, different things that we would think that would attract more people to Tinley Park to come and visit our bars and restaurants. And they wouldn't be limited just to places with video terminal operators. We could put this in the general fund to improve the overall appearance of the village. So those are some of the ideas we've been talking about. And trying to say to the bar owners back, saying, you know, we're not trying to punish you. This is, I'm the consumers. We don't want to hurt your businesses. We believe in your corner businesses. We want to help you. And we're going to make some of these funds available, you know, kind of percentage wise to help, you know, improve your kitchen, your bathrooms, you know. You get that.
Yep.
We also just gave them a 6 machine.
6 machines, they got $4 maximum bet now.
Yeah, so they got not only that, they got the additional income from a 6 machine.
Right.
And I was unaware that it's, when's the $4 a push come in?
I think as soon as the gaming law gets around, we'll get it, but it's been approved by state law, it's just a matter of instituting it. It may have already been, I haven't checked.
So now the revenue's really gonna go up. Would this be similar to what they do in Michigan where they charge you, was it a dime a bottle or something like that and you gotta return it?
I would think it's more similar in my mind to like when you used to see a cigarette machine in the corner of a bar. And you would go over and you would pay $10 for a pack of cigarettes. Well, the vendor was responsible for collecting the county tax and the state tax out of that $10 and remitting it back to the government. So it's very similar in that sense. So they didn't say $10 and another dollar for a tax or another penny for a tax. It said $10, but certainly that pack of cigarettes that came out of that machine had a tax on it. And the vendor, much like the vendor here, is responsible for reimbursing or paying the tax on that pack of cigarettes. It's the same here. The operator is responsible for making sure that that's collected and remitted. So I think it's more akin to that. Interestingly enough, many of these operators are the same people that put those cigarette machines and pool machines and jukebox machines, and they had the relationship with the bar. This is their latest business venture. So they're well aware of the history.
Oh, sorry, Diane, do you want to talk? I just wanted, last time we were at the last cow, it said, the licensee would be, given a extra cost, not the consumer on the other tax. What's going on in Oak Lawn? There were two agenda items on the cow last week, and one was about the licensee having to pay. And then this other one was the, consumer, the push tax. Does Oak Lawn have both of those, like we had? I don't know what
This-
happened to them.
I think you're talking about the terminal operator fee.
Yeah, that one.
There's.
Did that go
correct me if
away?
I'm wrong, you're talking, there's a terminal operator fee for the license, and then there's, an establishment fee per machine.
There is
Is
the
that what you-
amusement tax fee on the machine, right, that the bar pays. And there's the push tax that's on the consumer. If that answers your question.
Yeah, so we talked about both of those at the last cow. I think Doug was here from your firm. Do you have that in Oak Lawn? Did they do both of those?
Well, I think what you're saying is, so there was a discussion about putting, much like the amusement tax fee on the bar owner, to put one on the terminal operator too?
Mm-hmm.
No, we did not.
So they just have this consumer tax on there.
It's
On
not,
the-
it's not on the operator, it's on the consumer. The
So they just
operator-
have a push tax in Oak Lawn?
No. We have a license amusement tax fee that, on each machine, there's a sticker, just like you would have here, that says per machine what they pay.
Okay.
The license, the machine, the amusement tax fee. That's paid by the bar owner. The push tax is paid by the consumer, but collected by the operator.
Yeah, because we had two things on the last cow. I wasn't sure. And Oak Lawn is currently taxing everybody right now? Did they start this?
Oh, yes.
And how long has it been a month, or how long
We
is?
started, we passed the law in November of 19. We went
Oh,
into
so it's
effect-
been going for 3 months?
No, it went into effect 1/1 of 20.
Okay, so January
The
1st.
month ends, right, 1/31/20. Then they have to February 20th, because of the holidays and so forth, to pay the tax. They have to submit a form, which is similar to the form attached here, to tell us the number of pushes and what they owe. I will tell you that, again, another company paid today in Oak Lawn. So companies are paying, some are fining, some are paying. So, I can just tell you that, that's what happened since January. So what's like, if you were to pass it here, or whatever arbitrary date you wanna pick, it starts that day, but, then we wait till the end of the month. The gaming board has their numbers up on the website, so we can guesstimate what was that on the machine, right, or any individual place. So if it's $100 and we bet, and the maximum bet was, we know it was $2, so there was 50 pushes, so they owe us 50 cents. That's the back of the envelope that you can guesstimate, that's what they were trying to say. But they certainly know, and they've actually admitted to us that they know the number of pushes they operate.
So have they lost business because of the tax at all? Has that been quantified in any way, or is it too short of a time?
I've not heard of anybody losing any business, and it's not an issue that any bar owner that I've heard at all in Oak Lawn.
Cool. Also, now the lawsuit is pending, and your firm is representing Oak Lawn on a suit against, from the gaming people to Oak Lawn right now, is that right?
A lawsuit has been filed by by 6 operators in the Illinois Machine Operators Association. So to put it in perspective, there's 16 operators. 6 have filed a lawsuit out of the 16. 2 or 3 have paid. And the others, I think, I don't know what their plan is. But yes, the lawsuit, we have not been served with the lawsuit. So we have not seen it.
So your firm would be, who would be representing Oak Lawn?
Oh, yes, we're gonna represent them 100%.
So, okay. Any idea what, so nothing's really going on in the lawsuit now? Is that it?
Well, the
I'm not
court's
sure.
been closed by
They haven't
order
been ser-
because of the coronavirus.
They haven't been served.
Right, so that's what I'm asking. So,
Yeah, so we don't think anything's gonna happen with the lawsuit in the immediate future, now.
so no one's been served?
The village is not concerned.
Okay. Okay, cool, thank you. I was wondering maybe if, to wait and see what happens in Oak Lawn since they started it, might be wise for us to see, because we have the benefit of you representing us and Oak Lawn.
Thank you for the compliment. I think there was one in there.
It is.
So, yeah, again, and I will tell you exactly what I told the village of Oak Lawn board and trustees and mayor is that, we think it's a lawful tax. We think that it's, helps, put a deterrent on the gambler, which should be there, in the sin tax. We think that that we anticipated a lawsuit, the village was well aware of that. They thought they were gonna get a lawsuit, and they did get a lawsuit. So there were no surprises. I think we were surprised that they ran to the legislature to try to change the law instead of trying to work with us. They allege that they tried to work with us, but they really just came in and said, it's impossible, we wanna pay, do something else. And that really wasn't negotiations. I will just say that the board was well aware of the risk involved and, the long-term future of the village. In their opinion, that the risk outweighed the benefits. But the benefits outweighed the risk.
Well, yeah, I think I would like to wait because see what happens with that before we do it. I mean, we have the benefit of you, and not that I object you getting 2 paychecks, one from us and one from Oak Lawn, but I think that's how it would go.
We represent Rochelle, we represent over 50 municipalities. in the
That
state,
have
so
the
we
same
got-
tax.
No, not everybody's passed the same tax, but we do represent a number of municipal clients. So we don't just rely on these 2 towns, payrolls. That's what you're saying.
No, I'm saying that these 2 are in the similar boat. That's all. I mean, I don't know. You brought the other ones in there. I wasn't worried about them.
And other.
I'm worried about
But I
this
mean,
town.
Other towns
couldn't
are-
this essentially save us money in the long run if they combine would they combine the cases or no?
I think they probably would try to combine the cases, I would just point out that, we do believe it's permissible to put the printing tax right on the opera, right?
Right.
We've researched that, so, I mean, we were trying to be, the idea behind the tax is to put it on the player as a sin tax. Certainly, we could write a law and put it right on the opera, for clearly, but,
Right.
the choice was to put it on the consumer, because we thought that's what we wanted to do as a public policy point of view, was that, we wanted, in some cases to discourage or educate gamblers about the dangers of
Sure.
the gaming.
I think it's a great idea.
proliferation.
Currently though, someone goes in and gambles. There's no way for that operator right now to collect the tax before the first month's out. So it is really
Currently, that's what they would say. They would tell you that, yeah, they've been sitting on
I
their
mean, that's the
hands.
truth, they don't have
Well,
to right now to
That,
do
well,
it.
that's because they'd rather fight in Springfield and fight in the courts than rather go and spend money on an IT guy that can write a program to collect it. Certainly, it can be done. Maybe it's expensive again, maybe they don't wanna do it, maybe they see this as a watershed moment for their industry, so I'm sure there's plenty of reasons. But we do have an expert that will say they can do it. In fact, they can reprogram these machines in a minute and check a new algorithm right into the machine on payouts. On the payouts, it has to be somewhere between 86 and 92% payout rate. They can change that as you're standing at the machine. They can shoot messages and change the payout of the machine you're standing at. By law, they can't. They have to have like a 4-minute cooling off period before they change the payouts on the machine you're standing at. So it's a very sophisticated industry. And this, I'm just not talking in Illinois, I'm talking nationwide, and I can send you some reports that we researched that would show you that, the operators in Illinois are getting a far bigger percentage than they are in other states.
Oh, yeah, I would like to tax all of them. I mean, honestly, I think we should go after the owners of the machine. I think as a municipality, we need the money. We need to help all of our businesses do it. I don't want all this gaming in all my businesses, so we have to find a way to pull that money. And this is a way, there is no current way, and I don't like the fact that they're gonna say, figure it out. It seems like a big waste of money. All these operators are gonna have to try to figure this out. They should be given, there should be a way to do it. Or this is just a tax on the operator. It really is. It's gonna be on the business. Because I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna sit and I'm gonna play, for 3 hours, I'm gonna get up and walk out. He can't, what's he gonna do, chase me down and say, how many times you push that, you gotta pay up? I mean, there is no way. So it's gonna
That
hit
is-
our operators.
right,
It's
that
gonna hit
is-
our businesses today, is what's gonna happen. There is no other way. I
So
don't,
really, that's the practicality of the situation right now, but it does not change the fact that they can change, they can write another program. They're just
No.
choosing not to.
Mike, you're an expert in writing programs.
They can write this program very, very easily.
Okay, so,
And they know
I
how
run
many
a business,
pushes,
I have
they
a
know how
bar.
many pushes are already there. They don't even need to change the program.
But do they know that when that person sits down, they have a way right now to know that when that person gets up, how much they owe?
It's not like that.
No.
I think it would be a way, you would put $1 in, and when you go to push, it would subtract a penny off. So if you had $1 in credit, you would have 99 cents.
So are
Right,
they,
it would, it would be as you're going along, right? I mean, that's the way.
but
I
is
think
the
it
operator able to program their own machines to be able to do something like this right now?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's capability is out there for them to do it? So,
I think it'd be scary if they didn't. They didn't have, they didn't know how many times that thing would be being pushed, which like you said, it's a very complicated business. They know exactly down to a T how many
Think
things.
about it when you're sitting there looking at one of those machines. One is directly to the Illinois Gaming Board. So they know exactly what's going on that machine and how it's being out and how many times it's being played and when it's being played quite quickly. And that is, and then the other connectivity is to their own cloud or whatever they have. So they know what's going on.
so you're saying it will be collected as the players play right
It
now?
should be, because it is envisioned,
Is
yes,
that, is that how, okay, so it won't be on, it won't be on
if they write the program.
They've known,
Sometimes we're gonna have some-
I'm assuming you probably discussed this in September of last year in Oak Lawn to pass it in November, because it had to go through committee, then it had to go through the board. So I'm assuming the gaming operators have known about this for at least 7 months. So it's not like they just found out last week. They've known about this for a long time. And like I said at the last meeting, I wrote a letter to our legislators. Dave shared it with all of you. I recommend you guys all do the same thing, because it's not in our best interest on what they're trying to pass. And,
The legislation that they're trying to pass now, just to put it in perspective, is when they were at the table, they said, oh yeah, you can put a fee, increase the fee, not on them, on the bar owner. And then they ran down to Springfield the day after the meeting and introduced a bill that said the fee could be capped at $100 on each operator per municipality. Now, they didn't tell us that at the table.
get $100.
Per year or
Thanks.
per?
Yeah,
Yeah, $100. So, Brad, thanks for the work you did on this over the weekend. Appreciate it. Anyone else? So we have a motion to push this to the board.
I'll make a motion.
Have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion,
I'm a nay. I think I should wait till the Oak Lawn thing goes. If there's a lawsuit, that's the last thing I want, is to have Tinley involved in another lawsuit.
I think there is.
motion carries.
So, no offense, thank you.
So,
Number 3, discuss service contract with Constellation New Energy, Inc., water pumping station.
I got that.
I'm sorry?
I've got that.
Go ahead.
Okay. So everyone is familiar with our electric aggregation program that we have for our residents. There's also a separate program that we have that is for water pumping stations. And really, it operates under the same principle. We're banding together with a number of other communities, in this case 140. And by banding together, we get better prices. So we've been doing this for several years. A couple weeks ago, we went to bid and for our 5 pumping stations and got some very good pricing. Basically, for a 3-year bid, it's at 4.66 per kilowatt hours. That compares to what we pay right now, which is 5.324. There's 1 and 2 year options, but the 3-year option is a pretty good number, and frankly, because it's so much lower than what we have now, 80% of the towns chose that. This bid, as it is with the residential electric aggregation, when the pricing comes in, it's the pricing for that day. So I had to sign off on an improvement, so really what we're asking to do is essentially to ratify the action that I've already had to take. But this is, kind of a nice savings for our budget, and Constellation would be the supplier, and will take us for the next 3 years.
Thanks, Dave. Any questions?
Thanks, Dave.
Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Do you have a
Move to the
second?
board.
Thank you, Cindy. Thank you, Bill. All those in favor?
Aye.
Oh,
Wait.
I'll mention it.
There's more.
Go ahead.
With our electrical aggregation for our citizens, the supplier MC Squared is gonna be doing a mailing later this year, to solicit any new residents to the community. And just wanna make sure that you guys are aware that that was gonna take place. Because they're not currently participating in the aggregation, and wanna give them the opportunity to do so.
Thanks, Brad.
I mean, I thought that they were doing it with the ECC was monitoring the watts, and is that still, are they still partaking in that for us? Environmental enhancement, I'm sorry.
DC still is still aware of this, they, the same information, but this is just part of the whole process they have to go through. So.
Is this that opt-in out letter that we had before, Dave?
This is for any new resident. It's-
Oh, just brand new people.
Yeah,
Sorry,
it's not
thank
gonna
you.
go out to the existing residents that were part of the original.
Okay,
But just so you're aware that there's another mailing going out in case somebody raises a question.
thanks.
Thank you.
Okay. You want us to redo the motion on that, Dave, or we? good?
No, that's just
That's just
Just-
information.
No, I'm saying,
We stopped in the middle.
yeah, we stopped in the
Oh.
middle. So Cindy made the motion.
Okay.
Second.
Bill seconded it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Number 4, discuss 2021 pavement management program and award of contracts. Colby, you want to take that?
Sure. This year's PMP was put out to bid back on February 27th. The project entails approximately 9.2 miles of pavement improvements. This include street resurfacing, heater scarification, HMA surface removal and replacement, pavement patching, miscellaneous concrete repairs, structure adjustments, pavement restriping, and a few other miscellaneous improvements. We got 5 bids. The low bidder was Gallagher Asphalt for $3,681,512.04. If you look at the budget, this year's budget has $4,115,000. With the low bid being $3,681,512.04. You got an engineering base fee of $1,250, negotiated preliminary and engineering fees and inspection fees at 9.5%, material testing fee of $27,500, which puts us at $4,060,005.68, which is just under $55,000 under budget. So I am looking to make a recommendation to approve the low bid and award the project to Gallagher Asphalt in the amount of $3,681,512.04 for this project.
Great. Thanks, Colby. Any questions for anyone? I'll make a motion to move it to the board. Have a second?
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thanks, everyone. Number 5, discuss proposed 159th and Harlem TIF intent to reimburse resolution. Andrew, you want to take that?
I'm gonna pass that one to Brad. I'll take the next one.
As you recall, at the last board meeting, we approved a contract to look at the feasibility for creating a new TIF. Along with that, we typically do this resolution that allows us to reimburse us for any costs that we may incur prior to the creation of the TIF, from TIF revenues in the future. Again, if we don't move forward with the TIF, we don't move forward, but it gives us the opportunity to reimburse ourselves of these costs that we may incur prior to creating the TIF.
This is the technicality you mentioned at the last meeting, right?
Yes.
Thanks, Brad.
Thank you.
Any questions? Have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Nay. I'm a nay.
And 1 nay.
I'm a nay.
Number 6, discuss 2021 budget wrap-up. Andrew?
All right, I'll take that one.
Well, that's a hard one.
Thank you again. On March 10th, as you may remember, the budget presentation, which took up the entirety of the meeting. We appreciate your time in hearing the proposal. It's one of the two times that the finance department really gets to shine with the large document that we put together to plan the next fiscal year. I also want to thank you for the questions that were provided. They are included in your packet, detailed with answers, as well as any necessary backup that was required. We did revise some of the capital expenditures. There were some removed based on the comments we received, as well as a few added back in based on the priority that the board showed in said items. I'd be happy to take any questions that you have, in particular to the changes that were made, the questions that were asked, or anything additional that you may have regarding the budget at this time.
Yeah, Andrew, it looks great. Again, thank you, and your first budget within less than 30 days under your belt, and Brad and your finance staff, and Dave and Pat and everyone, and our village attorney. Thank you for putting all this together. Appreciate it. Any questions?
No, the answers look great, so thanks for providing those. The backup material was very helpful, so appreciate it.
I just have one. I just have a question for Brad. As far as the revenue for next year with this coronavirus, are we going to be all right here?
I believe, well, we certainly are not going to be.
I just wanted to hear your opinion on what you think's going on with the revenue.
We are certainly not going to be unscathed in this situation. We will share in the pain that everyone else is sharing. However, I don't think it's warranted to halt not moving forward with approving our budget. We will obviously take some measures as things unfold, as far as we did back in the recession, to address the changes in our revenue streams and so on and so forth.
We've already had some internal discussion, and obviously some of the new hire, some of the major capital projects, of course, have to come to you for approval anyway. I think we'll probably want to take I guess for lack of a term, a slow walk with some of the new hires until we really see where the revenues are at. And certainly, during this kind of unusual year, we will want to chat with you before we really move forward with some of the major new initiatives. And the way our system works is that, the revenues lag, so it'll be a few months before we start to see.
We won't really see the impact for at least 3 months.
Yeah.
So we were gonna.
Yeah, it's going to be rough. So thanks for getting a heads up on that.
Yeah, we were gonna discuss it more at the board meeting. We already had many talks about it, and like Brad said, there's a lot of things that are gonna lag. So I think just the necessities are everything, you approve the budget, but it doesn't necessarily mean that everything's gonna be done. So Brad and Andrew and finance are gonna wait to see how the numbers come in, and then from there, they'll start figuring out if something has to be slashed. But other than that, you approve the budget, and then, just the main things like, water main and road improvements and stuff like that will all be done.
The departments will probably be asked to, focus their efforts towards, the core activities that we need to do, and wherever they have discretion in their expenditures, to kind of be cautious and hold back as we continue to weather this storm.
Are there some lead indicators you're going to be looking at to see how the 3 months is going to play out? Like the video gaming tax comes in quite a bit earlier than.
I'm sorry?
Like the gaming taxes, we can see online pretty quickly.
We can see that we get that information a little bit sooner than we do sales tax. Like say sales taxes, there's a 3-month lag from when we actually see, from today's sales to when we will receive the money. And so, it's going to continue to be watching what the newspapers are saying and what we're seeing out in circulation, as to give us kind of a pulse as to where things are going. And obviously, as the numbers start to come in, we can look a little closer at where we're at.
Any other questions?
It's going to affect most of our major revenue sources: sales taxes, income taxes, motor fuel taxes, the use tax probably as well, will all be impacted.
Any other questions? No. That's good. Nope. Number 7, receive comments from the public. Let the record reflect there are none. I have a motion to adjourn the committee of the whole at 6:35 PM.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Bill. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. We are adjourned.